So,
What?
how is it that we are at the Bahamas Games? We just celebrated 50 years of independence, being proud to be Bahamians, and there is no Pocky event
I
in
thought
the
you was calling
Bahamas Games.
from
Like being
Go
serious,
somewhere here.
the
dodgeball, which is just indoor Pocky.
Right, that's what it
Pocket.
is.
Sorry, I act like a freak on.
You
If
did
they
it
have
right. You did it.
dodgeball
Yeah, I love
that is
that.
just indoor parking, why do we not have parking
Who said we have
in our
dodgeball?
Bahamians games, Bahamas games?
They have pocket.
I'm saying, why don't we?
They have dodgeball.
There's dodgeball in the Olympics, right? Dodgeball is seen as a real
Yeah,
sport.
I think it is an Olympic sport. I think
Pocket is.
Dodgers.
That dodgeball, parking is just outdoor dodgeball.
Yeah, but that's because it's
Just like how,
pocket.
what it is. It's two other sports, it's the same thing, just different places.
I'm gonna leave.
Curling and bowling is the same thing. Um, what else? I can't think of anything else, but I think we should have parking in the Bahamas games. So I just feel like
Would you why don't you start the team and the petition?
I'm pretty much me, Shot for and Sawyer Boy, we could be the judges. We can have our
You're
own
funny.
all.
Soles lemonade. What I just said. Soleil. Why don't you start? Oh, there we go. Star 106 hits. Happy Wellness Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another edition right here on your hit station. We're Star 106, of course, today's show, as always, powered by KFC. Thank you to Pendertile. Kalik, the Bear of the Bahamas. Thank you to the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Thank you, of course, to the Cleveland Clinic. Solomon's, it's all about their smart rewards card. Thank you to Halliburton's Vitamin C, now distributed by Lightborns Trading. Of course, thank you to Bahamas Games 2023 and Muffler World. Good afternoon to everybody locked and loaded, 106.5 on the FM band. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in. Channel 976 on cable, and of course to the Facebook faithful. It's good to have you all. Star 106 and Natural Empress. All right. Wellness Wednesday. Always a fun time. Always a very informative time when Dr. E is in the house. So let's welcome her. Good afternoon, Doc. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm good. How about you? How you doing? For real.
For real, for real? I tired.
For real. Diet.
I
Hey.
am getting ready. I am. I'm getting ready to celebrate a very, as always, bittersweet birthday. As everybody knows, that I lost my parents on my birthday coming up on Saturday. So I think the little anxiety is kicking in somewhat, but I'm trying to channel my energies in a very positive way and trying to just find positive light. So that answers it in a nutshell. Yeah.
So think
So
about
I'm good.
this as the anxiety comes up, just remember how would they want you to continue to live your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I've been told. I've been told it. Yeah, that's you have the right words. It sounds absolutely perfect. I know it's indeed the right thing to do, but the question is how easy is it to do? It's really not. And people tell you, oh, it gets better with time. I have yet
Not done.
to see where
No.
you learn. You don't get over. I think, like people say, you learn to live with it, but
Yes.
that part hasn't even gotten easier. Yeah.
And especially your parents, they played such a vital role in your life and the connection you guys had.
Yeah.
So take your time, feel how you
Oh yeah.
want to, and do what you want to on that day. But I'm going to challenge you to split the time between feeling not so sure and then also remembering to look back on the year and reflect of all of the things that you've accomplished to be better than you were the year before.
Real. See, I told you you have the right words, and it's true. It's true, and I'm gonna take it. I got that advice. I took it. All right. Now, the last time you were here, enough about me. We ended on a very high note. I can't remember what the situation was that brought or sparked the topic about people feeling so comfortable as we celebrate 50 years. We talk about the things that make us Bahamian. And, I think people jest with it a lot, but it's a very sad jest when people say that, we're comfortable with sweetheart and being a favorite pastime. It's so prevalent when you hear of people who, really take their vows seriously. They stand out like a sore thumb. Some people have even gone as far as saying, man, listen, everybody doing it, get with it. And that saddens me to think that nobody believes in love anymore, or the majority don't believe in it. You get married because, you know, it's supposed to be a good thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stability. Um, some people, it's just a matter of, some people just want to get out of their parents' house for many reasons, but nobody ever says because of love. If you were to ask, if we were to walk down the street and, pinpoint some married people and ask them, why did you get married? In my Tyler Perry voice, um, they'll say something else like, boy, he was a good catch. She's beautiful.
It made sense.
Nobody, huh?
I the line I always get was this was the person that made sense, not the person I wanted to be with.
Say what now?
Yep.
You adding
This
insult
is
to injury now?
that over the course of this last year, that is the strongest message I've gotten about why people are married and why they're staying married. Because at the time, this is the person that made sense, not necessarily the person I'm most connected to, or the person I really love, like you're saying, or the person I talk to the most. There are a lot of people who are married because they are married, but in relationships with other people because they're the
Ah,
people they want to be with.
okay, so tell me, why is it so hard for people not to be go-getters and go be with who they really want to be with?
So
Don't tell me
one
it's
particular,
the financial ties that you're in. Don't tell me none of that.
so one of the main reasons, in one particular case I can think about is the person. They are emotionally definitely connected to the person. This person probably knows more about them than their actual spouse that's happening, but their spouse has stopped trying to get to know them now, and they're still stuck with the old version of them that they met. And I think a lot of people don't take that into account when getting married. I literally was on a session about an hour before ours about this couple. They've now been married about they've been together 20 years. They've been married for 15, and we were just talking about all of the ways that she has evolved and she's grown and stuff like that. And the husband is still literally says, I want the old version of you back. It's almost like they haven't been able to move on and accept that this person is changing. And here's the thing, I'm not talking about no extreme changes. I'm talking about the fact that, as you get to know yourself more, you come into more of your own, like people say, you get to know what you like, what you dislike, what career things you might want to try, what entrepreneurial things you want to try, what foods you like and you don't like anymore, just that natural progression. And the person is unwilling to accept the evolution of the person. So they're not out of their way, they're not doing anything. And I hear that a lot of times in marriages, and that creates such a great disconnection, because if you're not spending time every day getting to know the person that you married, you don't know them anymore. I tell people that all the time. You know the version you married. But if you're not spending time daily to ask a question, to pay attention, you don't know. So when people are like, oh, I know them so well, no, you know the version of them before. Do you actually know them now? And sometimes I'll ask couples that in session, and it's so surprising how they actually don't know each other. They live together, and I'm talking even some who do stuff together. So that's why I put up a post today. I love people's pictures, but ain't nobody is my relationship goals. I would like all of your pictures, but there's nobody you should be emulating as relationship goals, because you have no idea what really is going on. They have nice pictures though. They have really
You
nice
can take
pictures.
a break on that one. That's food for thought right there. Free your mind. It's a Wellness Wednesday. It's always a good time, a fun time when Dr. E's in the house. We're going to find out what's happening traffic-wise. Got our eye in the sky traffic report coming to you, followed by more Free Your Mind right here on the Star.
Early for this afternoon, look at traffic across the island and
Not nigga, do you know me? You know me?
I mean, it's so. I know I'm saying it and it sounds simple, but it's not, because we have so much stuff going on daily that people forget to pay attention. Like, or like I when parents say this to kids, they'll always be like, "I do so much stuff for you," but they don't want stuff. They want time and attention, right? That's how you actually know what's happening. Why I have so many adolescent clients who are struggling with themselves or the peer pressure that's around them, and their parents have no idea, because either they get really good grades, or now they become the kid who's in the room. Like I have one client who parent will now like just let them send me emails to schedule appointments, and then I'll have to say, hey, is it okay so and so schedule appointments so that they can also pay? And they're like, oh, I didn't know that was still happening. Yeah. You know, the child that lives in your house, that's always in their room by themselves, something is probably happening. People don't naturally just want to be alone all the time.
True. That is true.
We get, and so if that happens with kids, you can imagine your spouse, like half the time they just get on your nerves in the first place. You know, you love them. Sometimes you don't like them, but you have to pay attention. Things happen. We get so caught up in work and other stuff that we forget to pay attention.
Real. That's so real. So when you come to the place where you realize that, oh shoot, I forget, I leave the people out. Oh, sorry people, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Didn't even realize that I didn't have up the comments. Oh Lord, people nowadays are married for fashion. Lord have mercy, not the fashion. Gal, this look good on me. Wow.
Yeah. Or they get married because their social clock says it's time that I should get married. I know people getting married is one of the easiest things you could do. One of the easiest things I think you could do. You could find someone who will marry anybody. Now, staying married, being committed in marriage, being whatever. I can't even say being faithful, because every marriage has such different parameters about what fidelity is. Like, but all of that. People,
for the most part, let's talk about the physical aspect of fidelity, meaning you ain't sleeping with nobody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I wonder if that's worse for people to know that your partner is not sleeping with anybody else, but they still aren't interested in being married to you. That's a tough one to swallow. Think about it like that.
You come out swinging today, man. Come on, ease up. Some stay married for the wrong reasons. This time they have grown apart so long ago now. Is there such a thing where you grow apart and you don't realize that you've grown apart? Like, that's like being fat. You was a size 4 and now you're a 12. You didn't see when that was coming?
No, because we distract ourselves with the things in our reality. Remember, perception is based on what we see, what we want to
Right.
see.
So you didn't see that your pants couldn't button?
No,
How?
because a lot of us lie to ourselves on a daily basis. So those things are happening, and you could feel the
All right, here we go. Here we
changes.
go. Here we go. Here we go, Doc.
Now.
Star 106 hits, welcome back. It's a great time. Dr. E is in the house. Dr. Richardson, you are something else. But you know what? I love how you keep it real as we discuss at this point, paying attention. Now, I'm reading Letitia's comment that said some people stay married for all the wrong reasons. Sometimes they've grown apart, and that could have happened so long ago. How could you not notice that there's no longer any compatibility? There's no more romance. All these telltale signs. How could you not know? And I use the analogy of putting on weight. You look at your yearbook pictures, you was a size 4. All of a sudden you rocking a 16. Like, how did you not see it coming? There was one day you tried on the size 5 pants and it couldn't, you know these things.
But you tell
No.
yourself the story that you want to hear in your mind that, oh, it's only a little bit at this time. And then after a while, it gets so out of control that you feel like you can't do anything about it. That's the same thing that happens in marriages. You see how people you say, how did they not know they've grown apart? Kids is one of the biggest distractions that can happen in a marriage. It's a beautiful thing, but it's a distraction in the fact that it keeps you together and you have something to focus on. But this is why so many couples end up in divorce after their kids leave the house or have marital issues, because the thing in which we call it being triangled in therapy. The thing in which you were triangled on, that third thing that kept you all together, is no longer a part of it. And it's just back to being the dyad. And now you got to look at each other and be like, babe, I really don't like you. You just ain't my people. Wow. Like I was talking to this client this morning, and it's so ironic. All these clients have been married for years. These are not just newly married. And even though I have some newly married couples with the same issue, these where the spouses are literally not understanding how growth happens within relationships. A lot of people get married and then they stop growing. Right? This happens a lot where one person is like, by the time they got married, because they were at such a settled point, that was like the last thing on their to-do list. So they good. And then you marry the person who is ambitious and evolving. And then that's where you start to see the separation happen even more, because you good. Like, you don't really need to do nothing in your life. Things are functioning. And then the other person is like, my life just got started. But if we really look at the stages of human development, that's why it's so important to get to know who you are first before you get connected to somebody else. Because when you have people at different stages doing things, you're going to naturally have a disconnection at a certain point. It just automatically happens.
Okay, so we now reached a point where we've come to the realization that things ain't things no more. Why is it so easy for people to think that to fix this, it's easier to just step out rather than call a spade? Like you say, in one case, it could be as extreme as, I don't even like you no more, right? Or something even more subtle, where it's like, but, you know what I mean?
And one word.
So why are we so comfortable just stepping out?
That's the word, because it's comfort. We would rather go and test the waters outside than actually change what is really contributing or being accountable for our unhappiness. We get comfortable. I know too many people, male and female, who are in extramarital relationships, some sexual and some not sexual, because emotional affairs could be even more intense than physical ones.
Hold on, but don't emotional affairs 99% of the time end up in physical? Or what percentage would you say?
I would say probably 95,
Yes.
just because
Yes. Yes.
you have the people who will say, you know what, here's my boundary. Like we could have this, but here's my boundary with it. But yes, it tends to end up that way because that connection is really what the person is craving. And so a lot of times an emotional affair to me is always more hazardous than a physical one. And I know people are like, oh, but they no, because if they end up sleeping with that person they have an emotional affair with, child,
Gone.
baby love. Just
Gone.
let it go. Just let it go. Because
I
that intensity, that everything that now you were talking about, you could connect to, and now it's also added to a physical level. That's one competition I would
gone.
never want to be in.
Gone. Gone.
Now, someone could randomly go off and sleep with somebody and have no connection to them, and really, it's that I needed to get my rocks off in that moment, and that's what has happened. And that's it. They literally aren't thinking anything beyond that.
Let me ask you a question. Are you finding that, or know for a fact that I would have argued um, with someone, I did argue with somebody quite recently about this. There was a time I would say that because women are emotional creatures, that I don't think there's a big percentage of women who can be in a sexual encounter without giving of self, meaning there's no connection. Am I wrong in still having these happy thoughts about the world?
You are very wrong because I'm like, who are you friends with? Because not my friends. So, oh,
Are you
well,
serious?
I literally think it depends on the person. Like
Fine.
because I think we have I don't want to put all of our business out there, but we have underestimated women for a long time. And that's all I'm going to say about that because anything you can do, we can do better.
Yeah, for the most part, you know. But when it comes to matters of the heart and us being emotional creatures, I mean, there's always an exception to the rule. But are you saying, generally speaking, now, um, women can just throw it
Hit it
down
and quit
and
it? Yes, absolutely. Because not every, okay, there are
no
people you're
sir.
physically attracted to, but you know that they're not going to be somebody you would want to be in a relationship with. And I mean, there's an attention that's so intense, and especially as you get older, I think a woman who knows herself and her body is even more likely to do something like that because she's not going to get caught up in the whole idea like this could be my person and we could be in this relationship. No, I think she could look at a person and be like, okay, um, that could be tonight
My
or my
boy toy.
friend. Right, but that's not necessarily somebody I want to be in a relationship with. And I think a lot of women have gotten to a place where they're owning it. The generations have changed. I think that would have been generations ago when we were all into that whole like everything needs to be all lovey-dovey and feelings. Remember, our generation now is the one who's leading the gate in what's happening, and I can tell you the one coming behind, their child are even worse. They are the stories that I hear coming up already, it's a little like, oh wow, the evolution of humans. So yes, women can now um, just as often have sexual relations without having emotional connections. So because you attracted, I attracted to you, you attracted to me, and that's as far as this goes. We're
So
not gonna spend all this time on the phone and all that stuff.
where are the morals and the values and all that good stuff that we once knew?
Well, who says the person's morals or values have changed? Maybe what's changed is the idea that people
You
are no
giving
longer
yourself
being
away to everybody,
restricted.
you ain't get no morals and values.
So him too, then, because
Well,
men can give. So well,
but
then you're
let's argue that women should not. I was going to say cannot, but I won't say that because you just changed my whole perspective. But women should not do what a man does and still think that she's a lady. Bam.
And tell me which generation that came from. Is it the same women who used to be home all the time, who didn't have to work, who didn't have to do stuff,
No.
who
Me. Whatever you consider my generation to be.
your generation? Okay. Then the question really is, if that's what you subscribe to and that makes sense for you, then that's perfectly fine. But every house is a little different, and every person is a little different about what they value. And I just think that whatever worked for you, but that may not work for me or people I know, and that's fine too.
Okay. So people know that drugs can destroy you.
Right?
You'll have some that'll be like, you know what? I ain't never gonna touch it. Yeah, I know
Mhm.
people who do it, but it ain't we know the facts are there, right? But you decided you want to do it, that's on you, right? It makes you it does not make you a good person because you're being bad to your body. How about that? When you decide to, get yourself on drugs, it not
Right.
only, does your body harm, it ruins families, it ruins lives, the whole 9 yards, right?
Mhm.
But if you as a woman are going around putting mileage on your speedometer, your car has no value.
You know what? Like, hold on, because I need to catch myself. My person came out, not my profession. And I have to say it this way: all the women, most of the women I know who got married within the last couple of years had the most checks on the speedometer ever. So when did that stop anybody from getting married or being considered wifely material? When? Because all the ones I see winning obviously was talking and using their WAP a little longer than the rest of us. So maybe we was the ones who was confused with this whole moral compass and stuff. If I see some of them pictures lately, I was just like, child, who got married?
You
Man.
lie.
I think people have ideas of morals and put it out there, but I can't necessarily say that people subscribe to the things that the larger community believes is true. Because if you really look at how many, and some people who married, and when you was growing up, they was the village bicycles. And right now, they have this new life and they're the wives and stuff like that. And people are still in shock that they even got married because people evolve and change, right? Same thing with men and women. And I think that while a lot of us got messages to don't use your body, do all these things, blah, 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 there have been a lot of people who got married who you looking like, well, child, I guess it was good to be a hoe in school. Sorry. They just, hey, this person said it right. They seasoned. Some people like seasoned. I just hope. I know we came to talk about one topic. I just hope, and we can switch this after the break.
Together, though.
With whoever you getting seasoned with, please see their paperwork, because that's what we can talk about. We need to talk about these people and their paperwork. I just cannot with y'all and spreading these things around. I am over it. If I have another client who come in and tell me about how they have contracted some sexually transmitted infection, I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Okay, so we're back. I'm glad you brought that, but we can take a quick break. This is too hot. This is too hot. We got to calm down just a moment. I got traffic once again right here.
Them speedometers.
Early for this afternoon, look at traffic across.
Right. Let me read some of these real quick. Thing is, with a woman, there's no real way to tell how much mileage on her body. That's a lie. Where'd you get that?
Well, actually, there were some studies that came out that says it's sometimes it doesn't actually depend on her mileage. Sometimes it depends on her body's like elasticity and physical stuff more than how many people she's actually had coitus with. There was actually some studies about that. See, all these messages we get. That's what they used to tell us.
Right, that's true. So
now you get a rejuvenation. So how you gonna know?
Well, that's what he's saying. I guess there's no real way to tell, because once a woman takes a break from sex, her body recovers and restores back to the original form. Snap!
Snatch back.
So if you have a car, you continuously clear the car, reset the total mileage from the dash.
I have a brand new car, baby. Brand
You
new.
have
Thank
no
you.
way to tell that the car ain't new. Yes, because guess why? There's that physical damage. All right. The car have two
Oh,
little scuff to the back by the trunk. All right. And on the hood, you see somebody pissed them off. They did key that. So you see the key line right through the trunk. Come
but that
on.
comes out more in emotional than it would come out in physical.
Yeah, that's true. You got a point. But
Yeah.
again, it means that we've lost as not only just a country or a society, but in the world, what we've been taught as morals and values, what's right and wrong, what's acceptable for a woman in particular. So, is it safe to say now that the way of the world is man, do you, boo, and it should be accepted? So why even have marriage anymore then? Why we don't just eradicate marriage as God's way, right? And say, you know what, it's a free fall, the devil's way. Because that's what it is. If God says that this is what I want for my people, right?
Right.
And we saying, man, screw that, but I want to screw everybody because he look good. Where you see the muscles on that nigga right there, that's mine. Like what?
I
And that's
think
what it is.
I think one, we have to put a cultural context to it. In our culture, a lot of Caribbean countries have based their morals and values on religious principles,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I think here's now we're seeing the downside of being overly bombarded with certain messages. This new generation, a lot of people have taken a step back from religion and spiritual beliefs because of how it became bombarded to them at early on ages, right? And as a result of it, I think that is probably presented why you're seeing such moral shifts because those people, even their connection, their belief systems have changed. So we have to make sure that people are understanding what their beliefs are and how does those beliefs show up in their lives, because they are depending on when you grow, where and when you grow up, how you hear messages of morality is completely different. So we may be getting to a place over time where it could be more of a free for all because a lot of things have changed. I mean, I could think of, I don't know who. I
Let me
told my
go.
mom the other
Hold
day,
on,
I
hold
don't know
on.
who goes
Sorry.
to church.
Hold on. Oh, Jesus, hold on. Fire.
Enjoy. Part of the Holly Barnes family.
We're turning it up. Friday at 8 p.m. It's the Island Breeze Mix with DJ Supreme on Star 106 Hits.
Star 106 hits, morals and values is the order of the day, or is it something lost and long time gone? Is the question. Of course, when we talk about, keeping marriages and the sacrament of marriage and keeping it holy, it seems that this too is becoming extinct like dinosaurs. Whereas people don't really cherish, they're not overly concerned about keeping their vows. It seems like the world, not just the Bahamas, has just gone mad where it's a free for all, and like you said off air, in a matter of time, that's what it will be. It's already pretty much accepted because when you talk to people and they say everybody got a sweetheart, as if that's just the new thing. Get
Rite of
with it.
passage.
What was that?
Rite of passage. That this has
Right,
been
a
passed
passage, you
down.
say.
The rite of passage.
Oh, rite of passage.
Yeah. So
Right.
now
So
we're at a place where it's a thing. Like, oh, you don't have one?
yeah, and it's like almost like why not? But again, it's like knowing right from wrong. Just because all your friends smoking
Do
dope
it.
in,
Right.
in, in grade 5, does that mean you should do it too? Or do you stand alone and stand firm?
That's where it comes to self-identity, self-confidence, and self-worth. Because many times where when I grew up, there were friends of mine doing a lot of things that I wasn't into, but because other people knew they were into things, they associated me with that, because that saying is true. People associate you with the company you keep.
Right.
However, when people actually got to know me and realized, oh, that's your friends. And I'm like, yeah, because those are my friends and that's their lives. And I don't judge them for their lives, but that's just me and my house will not be doing that. So,
Right.
but you have to be strong enough to stand on certain things and know for yourself what your morals and values are. Because when you look at it now, I was saying right before we got back, I asked my mom the other day, I was like, what is the ages of people in your church right now? And I say it's her church because I don't go there anymore. I stopped going there when I had the ability to choose whether I was getting up on Sundays or not. And I think what happened too is how church has been done. Some of the systems have not evolved to incorporate some of the new stuff. Meaning, I mean, something as simple as I can't go to church no more. The music still sound like somebody dying. like I need a little bit more life in the service, in the message, and just little tweaks, right? Because there have been other parts within the same religious group who have made those, and you see the populations change, right? They gravitate towards more of the younger population. And so I don't mean change the fundamental beliefs of the group, but I mean do stuff that you can attract what people are looking for now. And if groups have not changed that, we're definitely going to see changes in the larger moral society's outlook of how things are. So I think we have to do something. This is why everybody catching bodies, I guess.
Okay, so that brings me to, I think that the overall question initially was, everybody seems to have somebody else. If something is not working, let's say I'm having some chicken right now, right?
Right.
And it upsets my stomach, right? The seasoning burns my tongue, whatever. Am I going to continuously eat it and just upset my soul, my stomach and everything else? Or am I going to just, resort to maybe eating some fish? You feel me? If something is not working for you, why keep it, right? And embark on something else in the meanwhile.
So it's because we're always hoping the other person will change. And,
how long
I
you
realize
waiting for this change though?
Well, I ask people that all the time. However, because like my client today told me how her and her partner have not had coitus in over 6 years. They live in separate rooms in the house. What? Thank you. Hold on. They live in separate rooms in the house. And they don't even do anything together. And I said, so what do you guys share? And they were like, what do you mean? I said, what do you share? Do you share meals together? Do you share bills together? Do you share conversation? Do you share TV shows? Nothing. None of those things are shared anymore. And so there's no connection there. And I'm like, so why are you still there? And they said to me, essentially, I needed the validation for what I was feeling is accurate so that I can make the changes. Some people need the validation from somebody else, right? So that they know what they're thinking is true. Some people need to be strong enough to be okay with the change, right? Because a lot of us say we want it in theory, but to actually do it, it's hard. And some people are still waiting and hoping. Like my client is saying, I still have a 5% chance for hope. And I said, whoa. I said, yeah, but some people will do that. But I try to tell people my belief system with that is different. If somebody has shown you consistently their inability to change, or they make, what most people do is they'll make little inferences of stuff to help you think that I'm going to change. And in a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, it goes back to the norm. They're not really intentionally trying to change, and people need to get that in their mindset, okay? If somebody's going to change something that is inherently a flaw to their personality, they have to be willing to do it. So, I know that ain't me. That ain't for me. So, but some people like to do it, but people get comfortable. Or because I know people on both sides, people who have been cheated on and people who are cheating, and a lot of them say the same thing. I really hope my person will change, or the other person will say, I'm too comfortable and I don't like it and I can complain about it, but I ain't going nowhere.
Okay, do you think if this is the new norm, the same way it's a new norm for as a baby come out the womb, they want to start swiping on a tablet because that's the new norm.
Yes,
right?
they are.
No, for real. So if this is the new norm where everybody have their extracurricular activities going on, right? How do we plan to keep the human body safe? Because what happens is people get comfortable very quick, right? And you're saying, go ahead and get tested. But if I see this boy over here that look good to me today, right, and I get him tested, but somebody else sees him like that, but she don't require a test, and he go with her and then come back, it's a mess. Like we cannot subscribe to this way of living. It's just I don't
it's
care
a
how
health
you turn it, it's
hazard.
not right.
We are living in a health hazard. So
You don't say.
Married people, let me specifically say to you, you should both be getting tested at least once a year. And I mean this sincerely, because I've known several married individuals who, when they came up, usually, their annual exam, that's when they realized their partner was cheating because something showed up on the test. And people assume after we get married, because, first of all, let's talk about the ones who don't even get tested before they get married. Y'all nasty. Let me just say it. Y'all nasty, because I don't know how you could sign your life away to somebody and you don't even know what you're signing up for. The day before y'all both supposed to get tested, not the day before, it takes a couple days. But a couple days before, get tested and have your paperwork, because when you want me to sign my life, I need your paperwork and my paperwork to validate it. And I remember at one point, I don't know if that's still true, but at one point you couldn't get a marriage certificate until both people produce like negative AIDS tests. But it needs to be more than that, because there's gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, and Charlotte's talked about how herpes growing in our country and we ain't talking about it.
Yes.
But every married person, once a year, y'all should still be getting tested. And y'all can feel however y'all want about that. But the truth is, you don't know everything that's going on, and you would like to assume that your partner is as faithful as possible, but I could tell you different. So I think you should go get tested for your own sanity, for your own health, right? It's another checkbox when they pull your blood to get normal blood work. The other thing is, have conversations about your stuff like that with your partner. I know partners who've gotten STDs from their other person, treated it, and never told the other person. And so when their paperwork came back,
exactly,
and the spouse had it or something, they could be like, oh, where you get that from? Nastiness, real nastiness out there. But we have to be conscious of this, because there's a story of a client who, had been celibate for a while, let's say over a year. I saw that too. I can't. Y'all need to go to the dentist too, is correct, because you could get herpes in your mouth. And this is why a doctor told me recently there's so many throat infections and throat cancer happening, because people don't realize what you could get anyway in your mouth. So let me just say this. This client had been celibate for over a year, right? And the last person, after they slept the last person, they got tested, right? So a year of celibacy. Run into that person a year later, unbeknownst, right? No plans, no nothing. You out with your friends, you run into the person and y'all catch up, y'all kick in again. So you decided y'all were going to hook up. Just say 48 hours after that, because the person then left, right? Because they had come in town.
Right.
48 hours later, you feeling this pain to the point that you have to call the ambulance to come for you.
What the frick?
Get to the ER, and they say, ma'am, you have herpes.
Herpes give all that pain?
Depending on how it can be contracted. Because remember, everybody assumes that you could just see certain things, and y'all stop thinking people clean. Well, I don't understand how you could see. Like, no, I still need your papers. Please bring your papers. Papers.
What? Jesus, I can't today.
These comments today are amazing. We can't even say some of them on air, but people need to really be conscious of that. Like, yes, y'all need to check.
All of this mix up, solid way of living. This is inevitable because why? Even if you are to get checked, right? Let's say husband and wife decide to do, like you said, their yearly check. Man, within that year, they're getting down with somebody who's comfortable with somebody else who's comfortable. And hence, if there is no monogamy, this is bound to happen. All this nastiness is bound to take control.
And this is why people have to be honest. In general, whether you're in a relationship or not, you really need to know what's going on with people, because it's nasty. It's some nastiness going out there on such a level. And imagine you go to confront the person after you contract it, and then they can say to you, I have no idea what you're talking about. And you're just like, this is how people end up in situations. Right. Because you know for sure you've been celibate, like absolutely celibate, and then this person has the audacity to deny it. Look, plenty of people are there. Y'all need to stop messing with, okay? Plenty people, plenty of them. They look clean, they look good. They wear nice suits too, and they wear nice dresses. They smell excellent, but guess what? They dirty, okay? I am just so tired. And there's nothing wrong with living with an STI. Let me also say that, because there are some that cannot be cured, but they can be treated. Now, if somebody is open and honest with you about having something, it is not your job to, one, go tell the world their business, because that's a violation on so many levels. And two, if you are uneducated about it, educate yourself first before you ask certain questions, because just because you have certain STIs, it does not make you ineligible. And so y'all just need to be sure of what's happening, because yeah. That comment is, we just have to laugh it off.
We've come to the end.
That was deep.
Next time.
That was deep.
I can't with these people today.
Oh, that was a lot. I wasn't ready for that.
No, but it's real. It is. Listen, we got to talk about this a little bit more, because there's so much coming out, like roaches in the night. We got to do something, because the next generation, they're up and coming. Like, what are we teaching them?
We have to teach them. We have to have conversations. I had a conversation with a client this morning whose husband, and I'll say that, won't have a conversation with their sons about sex. And I'm talking, the sons are like 14 and 20 something, because they're like, oh, they should know. Well, I said, did you say to your husband, well, who taught you? And if nobody taught you, how do you think your kids are going to learn? We shouldn't be so uncomfortable either to have these conversations. We should normalize the fact that people should be getting tested and treated, and learning to have conversations about STIs. She's talking about dirty. Some people don't even bathe. Y'all need to stop here.
Dr. E, always a pleasure, man. Please let the folks know you're the realest, man. Tell them where to find you, girl.
You can reach me on my website. It's www.rpc-ltd.com. Again, it's rpc-ltd.com. Or give my office a call at 425-0718. But Lord, that person's right. Please help. Not even the current generations as well, because let me tell you, it's a lot going on out here. It's a lot.
Thank you so much, Dr. E. Top of the hour, 5 o'clock. You're driving 5 with yours truly, and DJ AI comes your way.
The Bear of the Bahamas is giving you 5,000.
Oh, that is funny. That is hilarious.
There's some people who are married not out of love or anything, but because the husband or wife needed papers and paid them to marry. Yeah, we know about that. Now they tried to make it proper marriage, but that's not what the other person wants. They just wanted the documents. Wait, people do man on a roll. Wait, that
People.
Latif, no, that no, Nadine is Nadine. Nadine, you're a trouble gal. Oh my God, Nadine just had me. Oh man, uh-uh. This one's
Well, I just
deep throaty. Why y'all killing me today?
that was so interesting to me though when the doctor told me how many cases now of throat cancer have been associated with
Deep
oral
throaty.
relations. Or you what's the other STI you get in your throat? Gonorrhea. Like
In
it's
your
one of them.
throat?
Yes,
Very good
it's one of
duck,
them
man.
you could get in your throat because if you are giving fellatio and the person isn't clean, then
See,
which
that's the thing is this whole shit about being clean. Even if they bathe, remember now, there's that penile situation at the top. You understand? Like, come on, man. What the
I
hell you mean clean?
yeah,
This
I don't
is
know. It's
very
spelled out.
disheartening because I guess I'm a hopeless romantic,
Hmm.
right? Where I just believe if something ain't freaking working, cut, peace, bye,
Yeah,
bye. Like real, like if something ain't work, if it don't fit, you don't force it. If you wear size
correct.
10, sure you can't push it in a size 7. All right. So
Correct.
get
I
to
agree.
step into the shoe store and get what's you. But if something is not working, why lead somebody on or string them along or even do that to yourself, to thy own self be true. Push out, not get something push in.
But people have to be honest with that. A lot of people
Mother
just
sick, like how hard
they
is
live
it?
in they live in
Like
false
how hard is it
realities.
to cut losses. But I, as one who, listen to me, I'll start from freaking scratch, ground zero, and I've done it before, right?
But that's
So
what it
I
is.
ain't gonna look at, oh my God, it took me all this time to build this, and oh, what I put into this and what I invest, man, screw that. Bye.
Look, there are legitimate people out there living with one person, married or not. Let me just put that out there, married or not.
Mhm.
And the other person have a whole nother relationship with a child
Whole
or
family.
multiple, a
Yeah.
whole family. They still come home most nights, right?
Uh-huh.
And they still have their family, and there's no secret about it anymore. But nobody wants to have a conversation about the fact that this is so messed up on so many levels.
So are we getting to the point now? And I'm sure because you was being the no. Do we have a lot of open relationships and swinging going on in, let's just say, Nassau?
We do. Just the difference is people
Separate,
don't want to title
no,
them. Nobody titling.
separate and apart from Sweetheart, because Sweetheart's supposed
That's
to
what
be
I'm
on the DL,
saying.
not DL. No,
No.
no. I mean
Oh,
open, like just me, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I because probably somebody told me sorry, but somebody you probably know it. Who like they didn't like people within their organization, and both people know, and this is a very like this ain't no secret. That's their. This is my partner's
you said, pardon.
partners. Yes, plural. Two parts to that story.
Glory be to God. What the no, God coming for you real soon. I promise you all that. Quick, fast, and in a
Y'all better
hurry.
learn to act right. These people don't know how to act right, man.
Some people
It's
cheat.
it's
Boss, we
it's the
fire her
thing.
because she on the job for the boss's pleasure. Husband in the dark, husband, wife in the dark. Lord, what a time in the Lord. Jesus, see there? Vanna, can I buy a S? Ah! Lord, Dr. E, use a fire starter. Get off my life. Bye.
Okay. Bye. And
Oh,
hang in there this weekend, okay?
I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do
Bye.
my best. Mwah! What a time in the Lord.